I've found a YouTube video that I'm going to play in here for you. And what's happening is you're going to see a mixture of lead nitrate and potassium iodide. When this happens, when they mix the two, let's see what happens. So you've got lead nitrate in there, and you're going to drop in some potassium iodide, and you see that it instantly changes colors. Now in a second, the video is going to zoom in, and we're going to see solid particles are starting to form. You're getting a bonding between the two liquids, and let's just watch for a second. They're going to pour some more in, get a nice yellow color. You can see there's starting to be all these little pieces in there, and they're to the bottom, they're more dense. These are your precipitates. You're getting little solid particles about the size of a grain of sand forming from the mixture of these two liquids. So this is a composite that's used as lead nitrate and potassium iodide. And you see now forming little crystals forming as the two substances bond, and these big chunks are now going to settle at the bottom. Almost looks like a golden colored sand. I think he's going to pour in a bunch more in this section. Now you're going to have a bunch more reaction. You see what's happening is that these two substances, and these solid particles are going to filter and drop to the bottom. Alright, so that's just a little video on precipitate to give you a better idea. It's when you take liquids, put them together, and you form a solid. Let's go back to our presentation. Finish it up with the last few slides. So we just said color change or forming precipitate is a chemical change. What kind of change if somebody tears up a piece of paper? What do you think? Well, it's still a piece of paper. You haven't changed the base structure, so that would be a physical change. You basically change the size and shape of the piece of paper. If you mix salt and water, taking two substances, mix them together, salt water is a solution. It's a physical change because you haven't changed what it's made of. It's just salt mixed with water, but the salt is still salt and the water is still H2O. Now what about if you burn paper? Anytime you have fire or burning, that should indicate a chemical change. And if you think about it, when you burn something, you create smoke, you create like a pile of ashes left, a big pile of carbon. So those are new substances that weren't there before. And if you have a brand new substance formed, guaranteed chemical change. Now if you take that salt water we made in the last step and you evaporate the salt in the water, if you evaporate the water out, you're left with a big pile of salt and the water's in the air. It's a physical change because once again the salt is still salt, the water's still water. You haven't changed what they are, you just kind of separate them at that point. Alright, so that was kind of the overview for it. What I'd like you to do for the next couple minutes here is I have a couple practice questions. I want you to pause the video, read over these two questions, and when you're ready for it, go ahead and play the video again and we'll talk about the answers.